Thanks, Lesson Carla. The current GP contract is 47 years old. There were no major structural changes in the contract during that time, bar a small bit of tinkering. General practice in Ireland receives approximately 3% of the overall health budget, yet the general practice in most developed countries receives approximately 10% of health budgets. This disparity does need to be addressed, Minister, in Ireland. Research has repeatedly shown that if you spend €1 in terms of investment in general practice, you'll save 5 at hospital level. 700 GPs are due to retire in the next 5 years in Ireland. 70% of GP practices outside of Dublin are closed to new patients. Where are these patients supposed to go? Only 20% of Irish GPs are IMO members, 40% members of NAGP, while 40% of GPs are not members of any union. So this new contract has been negotiated without the input of the vast majority of GPs or their representative body. The vast majority of GPs have still not seen the new GP contract. Only 1 in 5 GPs, as 20%, have seen the contract via IMO. The FEMPI reversal proposal of €120 million over 3.5 years will not save the Irish general practice. The reversal package is grossly underestimated in terms of what is needed according to the GPs that I've spoken to. The 3.5-year time frame is far too long. GPs in Wexford are adamant that for general practice to survive in Wexford, and indeed nationally, particularly in rural areas, a few things need to happen. The first thing that is needed is a serious acceleration of FEMPI reversal. Secondly, GPs need an optional out-of-hours commitment. 15 years ago, the NHS made out-of-hours optional. This agreement was signed by more than 95% of UK GPs and has been a success despite initial government fears. The sky did not fall in by giving GPs flexibility in terms of working out of hours. 24/7, 365 days per year commitments for GPs is nuts. This kind of unreasonable burden for GPs is doing nothing to attract young doctors to the practice. Another vital requirement, Minister, is a new GP contract. GPs need flexible GP contracts that are family friendly, and that is to be crucial. Of course, capitation needs to be increased, but flexibility must also be built into the new contract. GPs I've spoken to are deeply concerned that, after all this time waiting for a new GP contract, what they are actually getting here is not really a new contract at all, but just a slow, drawn-out reversal of FEMPI. GPs fear they will simply be returning to a pre-FEMPI state, that they will be back to square one and will have not made much progress. I'm only telling you what I'm hearing from the GPs myself, Minister. Right? As you know, I'm no expert on medicine. There is a perception that GPs in Ireland are rolling in money, but in terms of the existing GP contract, showed that this is far from true. More than 50% of the population have access to free GP care. As an example, the GMS fee for female patients aged 16 to 45 is currently set at €43.79. That fee is per year, not per visit. This is what Irish GPs are paid for unlimited 24-hour access, 7 days per week, 365 days per year for this group. We are hemorrhaging GPs in Ireland and we cannot attract new people. I spoke to a GP in Wexford Town. Bill Lynch was his name, and he had to go to Barcelona to try and hire new GPs. A realistic, flexible, indicative staff budget must be agreed. What about sick pay, maternity leave and annual leave? Another point, Minister, I very much hope that the new contract will clarify the issue of GPs charging for routine blood tests, which is clearly prohibited by the Health Act. The Minister has repeatedly said that the GP contractual review would provide clarity on this issue. This is a decades-old problem. I'm regularly contacted by people who are incorrectly charged for such blood tests. I have sympathy for the GPs who are so financially squeezed that they are leaving general practice in droves, but the situation has, for many patients, created a toxic relationship with some of their GPs. It has caused a huge amount of stress and financial difficulty for patients in Wexford and around the country. Maybe the Minister can explain why patients I've spoken to must wait for 1.5 years to get a refund for the bills that they do pay, for which they should never have been charged in the first place. Some people do not even know their rights in terms of charges or accessing refunds, but even if they do, the inconvenience and delays involved in getting refunds is infuriating for many people. If we're not going to enforce the existing legislation and the provisions of the existing GMS contract, then can we at least have a fit-for-purpose refund scheme? Of course, a very obvious solution to this problem would be to actually recognise the workload GPs do and their importance to communities and delivering primary care services, and to properly reward them for this service with the kind of contracts they deserve. Minister, you said in your opening statement that I recognise also that GPs working in rural and socially deprived areas play a particularly important role, and I wish to assure the House that the Government is committed to ensuring that general practice in such areas remains a sustainable and attractive option for doctors. Well, Minister, right now it's not a sustainable and attractive option for doctors. So to say that you want it to remain so is playing with language a bit, because the majority of GPs that I've encountered in Wexford say that it is not a sustainable and attractive option at the moment. Can we make it that? Because it doesn't make sense not to do so. Thank you very much.